Okay. Hello, greetings, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2022 coming soon. Or if you're hearing on the replay in 2022, happy 2022 to you. Happy New Year. I hope it is one of the best years yet for you. This is Adina from Immigrant Finance. And I really want to spend this talk today helping you all transition and prepare for the new year to set yourself up for success and to have really the best year possible. I'm going to be going through a little bit through my process of preparing for the new year in case it is helpful for you, and to help you kind of have that guidance to make sure that you're able to reflect and learn from the past year, apply lessons, and also make big leaps and changes for the new year. So, first of all, I want to acknowledge that 2021 was a challenging year for many of us. It was a year of lessons. It was a year of difficulties for many, some hard lessons, some important lessons. It was a year for many of us of teaching too, and helping be there for others and sharing what lessons we were learning. So there was a lot that happened in 2021. For many of us, I know for so many people in our community, many of our immigrant finance school students, they had huge life shifts happen, starting with their finances. But we all know that finances affect every area of your life, right? Money is just something that spills over into our relationships, our mental health, our wellness, our life goals, our purpose, all of that. So it was a challenging year, 2021, and it's important to take some time before really going into 2022, to reflect on those lessons learned from 2021 so that you can bring those lessons into the new year. Make sure that you're able to really go to the next level, learning from those, and then really step into your success. I also want to mention I am recording this from Quito, Ecuador. I'm here with Mao and our daughter visiting our Ecuadorian family. It's been so amazing to be here. It's been 3 years since I was here, and the first time that our daughter is able to meet most of her Ecuadorian family. So I know that is such a privilege we have to be able to go there. And I'm so grateful. I know many people in our community aren't able to go visit family back home, whether it's because of the harsh immigration laws or how expensive flights can be. And we've definitely had many years where we have not been able to go to Ecuador for similar reasons. So I know how challenging that can be, and just want to express how grateful I am to have this opportunity and have our daughter get to know her Ecuadorian culture. She's been speaking a ton of Spanish, which has been awesome, and playing a lot with her cousins. It's been so cute. She has three cousins here, and two of them are girls too, and the three of them have just been like running around in circles, playing, partying very hard. I have to say the kids here party really hard. Christmas was nuts. They were up late, and the cousins were like pulling her around in a wagon the whole day, and she was completely covered in cherry juice. They were eating. It's a tradition here in Ecuador in the winter that cherries are in season, so she was eating a lot of cherries, and her dress was just covered in red juice. But she had a blast. But anyway, it's been really nice to be here, and I just wanted to share a little background on kind of where we are right now, before I jump further into the talk. So back to setting yourself up for 2022, wherever in the world you are. Again, want to just acknowledge how challenging 2021 was for many. It was also a year of major personal growth for many of you. Really questioning beliefs, questioning habits, questioning how you relate to money or your financial habits, setting new goals, right? And it's time to transition into this amazing new year we have coming in 2022, which I really think is going to be a year all about. And by the way, you're hearing honks and stuff. If you can hear from Quito, I'm right in the office here in my in-laws apartment, and the window's open because it's a bit warm. So yeah, in 2022 I really think it's going to be a year of really making a lot of those goals and dreams and visualizations into reality. This is going to be a year where it's going to be very important to dream big, to set your goals way bigger than you think they should be. So this is a critical moment right now to take some time to really reflect on what you learned in the last year and what you want those goals to be for 2022, and how you can even make them bigger and scarier. Because when goals are reasonable and very practical, they can get boring and you're not as motivated to meet them. So I'm all about setting stretch goals, which is this idea of setting a goal that's maybe so big and unrealistic and unreasonable that it's going to really push you and it's going to scare you. You want to feel a little scared by your goals, at least if you don't feel scared, then you're not pushing yourself far enough, right? But the idea with stretch goal is that you're going to go way farther than you would if you had set a reasonable goal. So let's say you set a stretch goal to be making an extra $2,000 a month through your side hustle, right? And if for you, if that is a really unreasonable, scary goal, right? It may be that by having that goal and thinking about that goal every day and taking the actions needed to meet that goal, it may be that you end up getting halfway and you end up making $1,000 a month extra in your side hustle every month. Whereas if you had set a reasonable goal of like making an extra $200 a month, you probably wouldn't have hit that $1,000 goal. So I hope that explains kind of how stretch goals work, where you want to set something that's so unreasonable that it's going to make you scared and push you farther than you would if you had done something realistic. So that's something I would really recommend when you're thinking about your goals for 2022. I know I have been having a process of being very inward the past few days. I know many of you have been talking to also have had that process, and I've noticed a lot of people doing self-reflection right now because we're going through a really big shift right now going into 2022. Going from this year, it was very focused on learning and hard life lessons into a year of visualization and making dreams, setting dreams and goals, and actually turning them into reality. So if you haven't taken some time to go inward, now is a great time before the new year hits. If you're listening to this before we hit 2022, if you're listening after we've hit 2022, do it the first few days of 2022. Just take some time to go inward and really reflect, do some journaling. I'm going to give you some journaling exercises that should help give you a framework to go through this process to set yourself up for success for 2022. And I'm going to tell you the exact same journaling that I've been doing, that I've learned from a few of my mentors, combining different strategies. And I would recommend this if you're not sure what to do. At least do this so you have something, some kind of approach to make yourself be in a position where you're able to reflect and learn those lessons and think about what you want to be different in 2022, and think about your goals and have those big dream goals for 2022. So let's start with some of my process and some journaling you can do. So the first journaling question, I'm literally pulling through my journal. If you're watching the video, you can see me flipping the pages and I'm walking you through some of what I've been doing the past few days here in Quito. So the first thing I would recommend journaling about is things that didn't work in 2021. In terms of beliefs, habits, choices, you can start off with financial, right? Because this is a financial focused community we have here in immigrant finance. But like I said in the beginning, finances bleed over into everything. Money is just like a symbol of energy, really. So it affects everything in our lives, our relationships, our health, our wellness, our mental health, our physical health, all of that. So start off with money and think about what beliefs, habits, and choices did you have in 2021 that were not working. You want to get really, really clear on that, because we need to know what those were so that we can make sure to release them and not bring them into 2022, so that you can make a shift and start having habits and beliefs and choices in 2022 that are going to better serve you, so that you can really move forward your goals and step more into your higher self and who you're meant to be, and be building the life that you deserve to have. So a few things I'm not going to go through all of mine because it's pretty lengthy and some of it is very personal, but a couple I want to share that I think will resonate with some of you that I talk about with members of our community, with our students. So a big one, this comes up every year for me, is just really not wanting to come from a place of scarcity or lack. Scarcity mindset is a really big thing we talk about in the immigrant finance community, as opposed to more of an abundance mindset. And personally, I've made a lot of growth in this area over the years. I used to be very much operating in scarcity mindset and wasn't even aware of it. I like to share with people, I suspect it comes from my own immigrant family experience. I'm not an immigrant myself, but my great grandparents were Jewish refugees who came to the US fleeing their lives with nothing, right? And so it's been passed down in generations. This fear of not having enough when you go through a traumatic experience like that, when you're running for your life and you lose everything, right? And that's been passed down in generations. And I know a lot of you in this community relate to that and also have the experience from your own immigrant families and struggles. So that's something that's probably always going to be playing out for all of us, like throughout life, but we can improve over time. We can become, first of all, more mindful and aware of it so that we know when it's happening. The first step is awareness. It's very hard to make changes if you're not aware of it. So that's a lot of work I've been doing the past probably 2 years or so, is becoming more aware of when those scarcity thoughts and thoughts of lack are coming up and how they're informing my choices and beliefs and life decisions. And then in the past year in 2021, I actually did make progress in not only being aware, but making changes to that and choosing different beliefs. And that is hard work to do, right? You have to be very intentional, very disciplined with your mind. But that was something actually that did work in 2021. But I'm still putting it under the category of didn't work because it's still there. It still comes up. I've talked about in the podcast that there were a couple periods in 2021 that really brought up those thoughts, and that's what can happen when life happens, life experiences. You can get triggered, and those old beliefs can come up. So a big one was in about March 2021. We decided for my husband Mao to leave his job and take care of our young daughter, who was a baby at the time, full time. That was a choice that came from abundance. It was only possible because we have a business and we had that privilege financially to make a choice like that. At the time, we were too scared to put her in childcare with COVID, and we were very privileged to have that choice, right? And at the same time, it still brought up a lot of fears because when you lose a salary, right, it can just trigger, because we've been taught our whole lives that what's safe is having a 9-to-5 job, even though we knew what's actually safer is to build our own business where we could decide how we want to work and who we want to work for, and how much money we make and all of that. Even though factually it was actually a safe choice for us, it still triggered months and months of scarcity mindset. So I had from probably March until like August of 2021 really deep scarcity thoughts around that I had to work through. I worked with a lot of coaches and mentors that were really helpful. But that happened. It was a big part of 2021. And then it came up again when we made another abundant choice. We decided to buy a bigger house, and that was a choice of abundance, a choice of faith and trust that was something we would be able to make happen, right? But still brings up the fear, oh no, now we have to cover a higher mortgage, right? And those thoughts of lack come up. So if that's coming up for you, where you're noticing a lot of thoughts are coming up, and decision making and beliefs from a place of scarcity, of not having enough, of lack, start to become aware of that. That's an example of one thing that didn't work in 2021 that I want to release and not bring into 2022, because it's not productive, it's not helpful. It just causes a lot of doubt and fear and insecurity and anxiety. And it's much better to be at a place of abundance and be problem solving and focusing on how you can make more money and improve the situation instead of worrying about not having enough. So that's one example. Overworking is a big one too for me, that I'm always working on, that comes from that same place of lack and scarcity, from that fear of not having enough. It did definitely play out in 2021, that I'm going to be trying to release and not bring into 2022. And I'm going to experiment more with, working less and working not from a place of lack, working when I want to and seeing how that feels, and coming from more of a place of abundance so that I can serve this community even better. So those are some examples of what you can journal about, what didn't work. The next step is to journal about what did work. So what were the things that worked well for you in 2021? You want to really double down on those and get really clear about what was working and make sure to continue that into the new year. So one that I wanted to share that has been amazing is making decisions more from a place of abundance and from my higher self instead of maybe where I am right now or those scarcity thoughts. So the thing I mentioned of us deciding for Mal to leave his job, taking that risk, or us deciding to buy a bigger house, I made all of those decisions from my higher self. And that worked really, really well. It's helping bringing us to the next level. It's helping propel us in our dreams and goals forward into reality, right? And we're backing it up with the action to make it possible. But instead of making decisions from lack, making it from abundance and from our higher self. So that's something that worked super well. We're going to keep doing in 2022 and including in how we operate immigrant finance. So write out what were those things that did work. Now, if you want to make this really fun, you can actually take that list of things that didn't work and scrunch it up in a ball and make a fire, right? Maybe on New Year's, you have like a little fire pit outside or something and throw it in the fire. Like, obviously do this in a safe way. I don't want anyone getting hurt or anything like that, but it can be really powerful to do a physical act like that to really release those things that didn't work. The next thing you want to do is think about what is going to be your word for 2022. That is a very helpful way to really focus in on what you want to be your theme for 2022. So take a look at those things that didn't work. Take a look at the things that were working. Spend some time thinking about your stretch goals, your goals for how you want the year for 2022 to be. Those stretch goals that are unreasonable and unrealistic and make you scared, write them all out, the things you want for yourself and your family for 2022. And kind of assess all of that and see if there's a theme. Is there some kind of connecting theme for all of that? And how would you put it in one word? And that can be so powerful because when you're in those challenging times in 2022 or when you're not in the best mindset, right, or you're feeling down, you can go back to that word to sort of spark and remind yourself of those goals, go back to your goals, get clear on, your mission for the year. So my word for 2022 I wanted to share is visibility. That's going to be my theme for 2022. I've had to overcome a lot in 2021, fears of being more visible so that I'm able to share lessons that we've been learning with this amazing community. So in December 2020, I started the Immigrant Finance podcast. So that was about a year ago. So 2021 was all about getting that podcast off the ground. Toward the end of 2021, started doing some more video recordings of the podcast, started to build our YouTube channel. I was doing live IGs for a while. We lost our IG account, so now I'm starting again. It took me a while to get back on the horse, right? So I'm back here now recording this live on IG and for the podcast and for YouTube. And I'm showing up, even though it makes me scared, even though it makes me nervous, even though being more visible brings up fears and insecurities for me. That's going to be my theme for 2022 because our community deserves it. And it's not about me. It's about serving you all. And I need to make sure to be showing up and providing the content in a way that's accessible. I know video is more accessible for a lot of people. So even though it makes me nervous, that is my commitment for 2022. So if you see me start to not be on video some, call me out. I want to hear, I want that accountability. My purpose is to be doing this work and supporting you all and sharing what I learn. So big part of that is going to be being visible. So that's my theme. Think about what yours is. And then the last thing you can journal about more is just some mindset stuff. What are the beliefs you want to be living from in 2022? Think about some mantras, affirmations, things like, I am abundantly supported. I make as much money as I want. I love money. I have a good relationship with money. I'm grateful for all that I have. Whatever resonates for you. Choose what those mindsets are and write it somewhere you can look back often. So I hope this was helpful. This was a little bit about my process preparing for 2022 as we go into the new year. And I'm here to support you all with going through this process as well and making sure that you have your financial goals and also a way to get there. That's what we do in Immigrant Finance School is we help you make your financial plan so that you can actually turn those goals into reality. So if you're ready to get started, I would love to connect with you and see how we can help support you. We offer free 30-minute consults. You can book a time at immigrantfinance.com/consult. No obligations. I'm just here to listen and provide support. So would love to speak to you soon and hear about what your goals are and help you get things moving. So happy New Year. I wish you you and your family a wonderful year full of so much love and joy and abundance. And I can't wait to be connecting with you in this new year of big dreams and goals and manifesting them and turning them into reality. Take care. Bye. Happy New Year.